Okay, Google, turn on both humidifiers.
Alright, turning two things on.
Hey guys, I'm Shoaib, and I would like to thank DREO for sponsoring this comparison video. So this right here is the DREO HM306 smart humidifier, and over here we have the LEVOIT Dual 200S smart humidifier. So without any further ado, let's put these bad boys head on and see which one you should get this winter season. Starting off with the unboxing to see what comes in the box. For the DREO HM306S, you have the humidifier, which comes with an attached power cable. There's a quick start guide that walks you through setting up the humidifier and getting the dedicated smartphone application. They have a QR code for that, so you can just scan it and then it will take you to the App Store or the Google Play Store and you can download the app. It also shows you step-by-step illustrations of cleaning and basic maintenance needed for the device. And for that purpose, they include a cleaning brush along with 2 extra essential oil aroma pads. They have an aroma pad already installed, and then they have 2 extra ones for later. DREO was generous enough to send me 6 cartridges. They gave me 3 clean mist cartridges and 3 demineralization cartridges. These are sold separately, and that is worth noting. On the other side, we have LEVOIT Dual 200S. In the box, you have the humidifier, you have a detachable power cable. It also comes with a cleaning brush and an extra filter. So it has an installed filter already, and then they give you an extra one for later. And it has the usual, the user manual and a quick start guide, which also does a similar thing, walks you through quick setting up the device, getting the smartphone application. It also has illustrations and stuff showing you how to set it up in terms of the parts and then putting it together. So all in all, they're fairly the same in terms of the parts and the pieces that come together. So you just take it out, put it all together, and that's pretty much it for what's in the box. Moving on to the design, so the overall appearance and structure of these devices, for the most part, they are very similar. They are both rounded, have a modern look, and a clean finish. But the DREO is a bit more rounded than the LEVOIT, which is more of a rectangular profile, whereas the DREO has more of an oval or like an egg-like shape. Both humidifiers have a 3-liter water tank where you can easily see the water level. However, I do want to note the DREO's tank is fully transparent, which is super nice and clean, which also allows for the built-in RGB light to pass through, adding extra aesthetics to like create a peaceful vibe right before going to bed. So that is a nice touch. Both devices are top fill, so the lid comes off easily to add water, so you don't need to worry about taking the tank off at all. Both have a 360 nozzle, so you can face it in any direction. There are times when I would like it facing it towards me, and there are other times when I like it facing it away, and that is done easily. In addition, both the water tanks also come off easily, so if you ever need to clean it or add water in the sink or something, you can do that easily, so the tank comes off and it is very portable in that sense. Lastly, both the devices show humidity level on a little LED display on the front with touch sensitive buttons for quick controls, and that is a nice to have. Moving on to the differences in design, for the DREO, it has 4 buttons on the front. You have the power on and off, you have the mist level, you have a Wi-Fi sync, and a button to turn on and off the RGB light. It has a wider water tank, which I kind of find it more portable, is not as tall as the LEVOIT ones, and it has a dedicated tray for essential oil, and this is kind of nice. There's this little tray that you can pull out and then you add your essential oils and you push it right back in, and that does the job. Lastly, for the DREO, I want to note it has a humidity sensor on the side. On the other hand, you have LEVOIT Dual 200S. It has 2 touch buttons, one for power on and off, then one for the mist level, and that's it for the buttons. You have a taller water tank compared to the DREO, which is slightly wider, but they are both the same. They both hold 3 liters of water. One's just wider and one's taller. For your essential oil needs for the LEVOIT, you have to take the water tank off and then add your essential oil in the base. It doesn't have a dedicated tray or anything like that, which I kind of find a bit inconvenient because you have to take the tank off in order to add that, but it's not a big deal because you can just set it up when you add your water, for which you may be taking the base off or the water tank off anyways, so might as well add your essential oil in that process as well. So that's a minor inconvenience, but I do like how DREO has a dedicated tray for essential oils, which can be done anytime. You can pull it out in the middle of the cycle, add essential oil, and push it back in. And lastly, for the LEVOIT, you have the humidity sensors on the side, and that's pretty much it for the design. Up next, we're going to perform 3 different tests to really see which one comes on top. Starting off with the sound test, I basically just downloaded a sound meter application on my phone and turned on each devices one at a time and just measured their sound level. So in my test case, I was getting around 38 dB for both. It would jump from like 38 to 40, sometimes 50, but then it would consistently on average would be like around 38 dB for both of them. But I don't think the app is as accurate as like a professional noise level measuring tool. And I have other noises in the house, so I will do like a minus 10 dB to make up for that. So we're looking around 28 dB for both of these devices when it comes to the noise level. So both of these devices are equally as quiet. I do want to note that DREO did provide me with some professional data where they state that the noise level for the DREO to be less than 26 dB, whereas LEVOIT is slightly higher at less than 28 dB. So considering both my testing values and the provided data, I can confidently say that the noise level on both of these are about the same. Therefore, it's not a major factor when it comes to determining which one is better. They're equally as quiet. So they are not going to disturb your sleep if you have them on your nightstand. Moving on to our next test, and that is the mist height and nozzle test. Basically, for both of the machines, I set them to the highest mode and just measured the height of the mist with a ruler. And I measured it from the bottom of the base, so basically from the table to the highest point of the mist. And for my test results, I got the DREO mist height to be consistently around 38 to 40 inches, whereas for LEVOIT, the mist height was somewhat jumping in like a wider range from like 30 inches to 35 inches. So in my conclusion, DREO offers a taller mist height of 38 to 40 inches, making it ideal for better coverage in larger spaces, while the LEVOIT provides a mist height of 30 to 35 inches, suitable for more focused or compact areas. And lastly, I did the humidification speed test, and basically for this one, I set both of the devices to its lowest humidity level in my room, and for that, I was getting around 47%. And then I set both of them like one at a time to their highest mode to see how long it would take for the humidity level to rise by 30%. So I basically timed it until the device got to 77% humidity level. So with the DREO, I got an hour and 7 minutes. And for LEVOIT, in order to go from 47% to 77% rise in humidity, it took almost 3 times as what DREO did. So it took 3 hours and 6 minutes. LEVOIT took way too long, and for some reason it was on 75 for a while, and it would like also jump down to like 74, 73 before it would go up again. And it kept doing that for some time. It did that in other humidity levels as well. Maybe my bed isn't the best environment to test this, but that is where I'm going to use the humidifier, so I think it makes sense to test it in my bedroom. So as you can see, DREO is substantially more efficient in increasing humidity levels than the LEVOIT under identical test conditions. This makes DREO a better choice for users seeking faster humidity controls because it can increase as per needed right away. Moving on to the humidity accuracy and RGB light. I wasn't able to personally test the humidity accuracy, so take this information with a grain of salt. However, it's reported that the DREO humidity level is significantly more precise with a reported accuracy within plus or minus 5%, whereas LEVOIT's humidity accuracy is stated to be between 10% and 20%, making DREO's readings substantially more accurate. Moreover, when it comes to RGB lighting, that's only on the DREO, so the LEVOIT one that I am testing does not have RGB lighting. So for DREO, they have the default setting, which you get yellow, green, blue. So when it's yellow, it's indicating that it's dry and the humidity levels are below 30%. When it's green, it's indicating that you're in the comfort zone, which is between 30% to 60%. And when it turns blue, it is indicating over humidity. Basically, your humidity level is higher than 60%, and that's going to show blue. So that's the default setting for the light. You have the yellow, green, blue, but you also have the option to set it to any color you want when you toggle it to RGB lighting. Basically, you can set any color in the color spectrum to be your default light, and it will stay like that for the whole time. It's not going to change anymore. So you can do that, and that is nice. And I found that to be a cool setting, especially at night. I can use it as like a night light, set it to like a dim red color or something. And this makes it a really good device for kids' room. So LEVOIT, on the other hand, does not have any light in this particular model that I am testing. So it does not have any RGB lighting, whereas DREO does, and I think it's a nice touch. Moving on to the filters and cartridges needed for these devices, starting off with the DREO, which has an option for a demineralization cartridge or a clean mist cartridge. One of these cartridges can clean up to 150 liters of water, and you can monitor the lifespan of these cartridges through the DREO app, which is a nice feature. At first they look the same, but their functions are slightly different. So here's a list of what the two different filters do. For the clean mist cartridge, it inhibits particle buildup in the tank, keeps the water clean, and extends the humidifier lifespan, making sure it's free of harmful chemicals. Whereas for the demineralization cartridge, it helps capture minerals in water such as calcium and magnesium, prevents white dust formation, and it keeps your humidifier running efficiently. I do want to note, for these filters, for these cartridges, it's going to cost you $19 for 3 of them, and you do have to buy these separately, so just be mindful of that. On the other hand, LEVOIT only has a demineralization cartridge, and that will cost you $15 for 10 of these filters. It comes with 2, one installed and then one extra one for later, but after that you will need more, and that's going to cost you $15 for 10 of them. Both of these devices recommend that you use distilled water, which is what I have been using, but I'm sure you should be fine using just regular filtered water, using an external device like a Brita filter or something, which I'm probably going to use later. But for these tests, I have been using a distilled water to get the best, and just also make sure that I am using the right recommended water. So in short, with the DREO, you are getting a better filtration system where it's not just capturing minerals to prevent white dust formation with the demineralization cartridge, but you also have the option to put in the clean mist cartridge, which will prevent particle buildup inside the tank. Moving on to the smartphone application, both of these devices have a smartphone application, and for the most part, both of them can do a lot of the same stuff. Like, you can change the mode from auto to manual to sleep, you can turn on the device, you can turn off the device remotely, you can set a schedule for the humidifier, so if you want it to turn on around the same time every night before bed, you can do that. You can also just manually set a timer on the app before going to bed for an hour, and the device will turn off after that. However, I do want to note that the DREO application does have more features, such as the light controls and filter health monitor. I know for LEVOIT it will notify you when to clean the device and stuff like that, but I don't think it necessarily has a filter health monitor built in the app, so that is one thing to note. So in short, both of these devices have a lot of the modern day smart controls. You can use your voice to turn them on, you can use your voice to set a schedule. So they have voice commands, and they work with Google, Alexa, Siri, and you can also just use the application to control it as well. So that is convenient. If it's away from you and you don't have direct access to the controls, you can just use your voice commands or the application, and that is a nice feature. So it's modern in those aspects. So I do really like the smart controls. Lastly, moving on to the price, for the DREO HM306S, it's going to cost you $50. And for the cartridges, it's going to cost you an additional $19 for 3 of them, where each of these cartridges will probably last you around 2 to 3 months at most. It really depends on your use case, of course. So you're looking at a total of $50 plus the $19, so a total of $69 for this device. On the other hand, for LEVOIT Dual 200S, is going to cost you $55 for the device, and the filters cost you $15 for 10 filters, where each one will also last you 2 to 3 months, really based on your usage. So in total, you're looking at the $55 plus the $15, so $70 for the LEVOIT. So with the DREO, you are saving $1, so it is slightly cheaper, but for the most part, these are almost the same in terms of the price, including if you are taking consideration of the filters. But just for the humidifiers themselves, the DREO is $50 and the LEVOIT is $55. So yet they're about the same price. You're looking at a $50 device, but DREO is slightly cheaper. All in all, both of these devices, the DREO HM306S and the LEVOIT Dual 200S, are great humidifiers. You really can't go wrong with either one. I'm a big fan of the top field design, the smart controls with Google, Alexa, and Siri, in addition to their respective smartphone applications. Both the devices are a full package with modern features and great build quality. But it is totally worth noting that the DREO is faster when it comes to seeking quick humidity levels, and the built-in RGB light is a nice touch and makes a great device for kids' room. In addition, DREO does have a better filtration system, therefore I would recommend the DREO Smart Humidifier over the LEVOIT for instant dryness relief and all your health needs for this winter season. Well, that is it for today, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell icon. As always, have a superb day, and thanks for watching.